Alrighty, guys, we are back from the rest hold. It's time to start getting into all of our Hall of Fame stuff that we're going to do for this part and the next part. We've got Sean Walker joining us for this talk. What's up, Sean?
Not a lot.
So
What's
we're
up
doing
with
the
you?
Ask Him now for Sean?
Yeah, do you know the answer they ask him, Sean? What are
Drew
the
Barrymore.
who gets the most amount of submission victories at WrestleMania?
Ric Flair.
Nope. All right, you're off to a bad start. So, what we're going to do for the Hall of Fame, we are breaking this up into two different parts. WWE's Hall of Fame is what we're going to talk about now, do a little wrestling with the past retrospective, and then we're going to get into the Smark Out Moment Hall of Fame in the next part. So before we get into all the weird shit that's happening there, let's talk about the non-weird shit, I guess you should call it. Although it is an odd class that we have for this year, and I gotta say, it's not the strongest one. We got some good names, though, and we got some people that deserve to be in there. We got some that we're not going to have too much to talk about, but, you know, we're going to focus
So for me, essentially, the most I could talk about is a fucking dead kid, so... Kid?
Well, we do have who Drew just affectionately referred to as the fucking dead kid. Connor the Crusher Michalek, or how do you pronounce that for sure?
Colum.
Not gonna work here.
Yeah.
Damn, I want to watch Office Space now. We have Arnold Schwarzenegger for the celebrity induction. We have Alundra Blayze for the diva. Rikishi for the fat guy. Larry Zbyszko for the old star. The Bushwhackers for the tag team. And our headliner, the posthumous Macho Man Randy Savage. And also there's one more I'm going to throw out there that hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's been rumored for quite a while, and he's probably going to be the last person that gets the headlining spot, Kevin Nash. So let's go person to person here, different thoughts about the class in general. What do you guys think about this, Peyton?
It's it really depends if Kevin Nash is going in. That really makes a big difference, because if Kevin Nash is going in, this is a passable class. It's just fine. They have enough star power there. They have enough people that I'm interested in watching going in there. I think they'll be able to create enough fun moments at the ceremony to make this all worth it. If Kevin Nash is not going in there, the only name that I think majority of people really care about going in there is Macho Man, and he's not going to be there. The rest of the people, you can make an argument whether they deserve to be in there or not. It's whatever. It's definitely the weakest class they've done in a while, and I really hope Kevin Nash is included, because if he's not, it's going to be a piss poor ceremony.
John, what do you think?
I think this is a very lackluster Hall of Fame, because I've never heard of most of these people, because I started watching wrestling, got into wrestling in like 2001, 2002. So, yeah. But if Kevin Nash does get inducted, does he get like 2 separate rings for 2 separate knees? Like knee replacement A, knee replacement B.
Maybe that'll be like the alternative to the Ric Flair getting 2 rings thing.
Mm.
I don't know. Drew, what are your thoughts?
Well, Kevin Nash will just get 2 knee braces instead of actual, rings, so... I actually know most of the people going in. I just don't know much of the Bushwhackers, and when they mentioned Larry Zbyszko,
Zbyszko.
I didn't have any. I had no clue who he was, but the rest of them I can somewhat relate to. I mean, Macho Man, everyone knows who he is. I mean, the only thing Blayze, to me, I think might be out of all of them, other than Larry, the ex that I know the least amount, and the only reason why I know her is because of her throwing a title in the trash can.
Her name is Medusa.
Medusa.
Call her by what her freaking name is.
Alundra
Blayze. What a bunch of bullshit.
Good old Debbie.
It's like Scott Hall going in as fucking Razor Ramon. Fucking ridiculous.
Anyways. Shit, I didn't know this was the WCW Hall of Fame. Damn. But anyways.
Well, they're putting in Larry Zbyszko.
Good point.
Yeah, but they can argue he's more of an AWA guy, and they purchased AWA. Then again, they purchased WCW.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, you guys talked already. Steven, you'll get your time. But anyways, Arnold. I like Arnold Schwarzenegger, so I'm fine with him going in. Rikishi. I actually like Rikishi. The thing is, the Hall of Fame doesn't really mean much to me, mainly because none of these guys, other than Rikishi, who was fading out, none of these guys were really wrestling when I started getting in like 2004. So the Hall of Fame won't mean much to me until like I actually get to see the guys who I grew up watching, like Chris Jericho, Christian. I mean Edge and Eddie Guerrero, yeah, but Eddie Guerrero died, and that was just a forced induction because he died. So yeah, when it gets around the time that I personally have a connection with most of these wrestlers, I will care more. But until that day happens, this doesn't mean much to me. If they add Kevin Nash to the mix, then I think it'll be a good class. I mean, if he doesn't, then yeah, it might be just an average class. But I don't think it's that bad. I think Rikishi's gonna. I mean, I just think the people going in for the most part, they're doable. I'm pretty sure they've had worse in the past.
Wego, what are your first general impressions?
Yeah, I just think this is a weak class altogether. I'm not very impressed by it. I'm not a fan of Rikishi going in. I'm not a fan of the Bushwhackers going in, and the Dead Kid going in. So overall, then when we go through each one, I'll give my deeper opinions on it, but not overly impressed. Kevin Nash will boost it up a lot, and I think he'll provide some entertainment, but these speeches are probably going to be god-awful too. Oh, we got to listen to Larry Zbyszko talk. Ugh.
Scott Hall went in, right?
Yeah, he went in last year.
Yeah, well,
Fucking, do you ever watch this shit, Drew?
no, I don't watch the Hall of Fame because like I said, I really don't care much about the Hall
they
of
only
Fame.
fucking talk about it every week on Raw leading up to it. So did you watch the Raws last year?
And anyways, the thing is, I don't understand why they didn't have Kevin Nash go in before Scott Hall. I feel like Kevin Nash is a lot more accomplished than Scott Hall was.
No,
why?
Drew, this isn't your turn. You get to speak later.
You know why they did? Because they aren't sure that Scott Hall's going to be around all that time.
Well, he's still around now.
Yeah. But they inducted Jake the Snake, too. It's just kind of like, let's just do it while we can now. And, you know.
He's clean. Go, go, go.
I feel like the thing is, I don't think we wouldn't be saying that now, and I feel like we're saying that more now. It's just because the Ultimate Warrior's death was just fucking like random as shit, and I feel like people are gonna stress that more when it comes to like other wrestlers who maybe be coked out or just like just like a recurring drug addict, that they're gonna try to push them in when they don't really need to be in yet because they're afraid that they're going to die. I think we just have rare instances of people dying, so I think that should not be a big deal when it comes to people getting inducted. I understand what you're saying with that, but they're still alive now, so that's just living proof that they could have waited longer to do it. Just like with Savage, it was just random. You can't predict death like you said, but you don't need to be pushing guys that don't necessarily need to go in. But Savage should have been in a while ago and shouldn't have taken him this long.
So let's save Savage for last. I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about with him and quite a bit with Connor probably too, so maybe we'll save him for middle round. But let's knock out the guy that we most likely are just going to skip right past, Larry Zbyszko. What do you guys think about this? I mean, I don't really have that much of an opinion about Larry Zbyszko because I don't watch older wrestling at all. Like, I can't find it entertaining. I've tried checking out, like, old Don Morocco stuff and old Danny Hodge, and I can't stand it. Like, it's boring as all hell to me. So anything from like AWA and stuff, it's just, impossible for me to watch it. So I only know Larry Zbyszko from his WCW days, and I was never that big on WCW to begin with, so that's a very, very small pool to kind of draw from.
Yep.
I think Zbyszko has the second most interesting last name out of all these guys.
Funny thing is that Larry Zbyszko is actually named after a really old wrestler from like the 1910s. That was back in like the Frank Gotch era of wrestling. He just decided to steal his name and be like, yeah, I'm going to call myself Larry Zbyszko. So he's a fraud from the very fucking beginning.
That's not his real name?
That's not his real name, no.
What is it? Is it like Larry Smith, and he's just being a dick?
Maybe it is his real name. I don't know. But there was a wrestler named Larry Zbyszko before him. And I don't know. Maybe they're related, for all I fucking know. Either way, he's not him, and he never deserved to have the same fucking name, whether it was his real name or not.
Oh my god, his real name's Lawrence Whistler.
Yeah.
Really?
I can't blame him for taking Larry Zbyszko then.
Yeah, but you gotta go with a name that's just like mashing a keyboard. What the fuck?
Well, again, that was the name of a guy back then. And that was back when you had a lot of like, German and that type of region people coming in. As far as
John Cena would face now,
the Larry Zbyszko himself, listen, he has his place there. He is a guy that's old and still alive, so he can actually show up and make an appearance. So I get why they're going with a guy like him. I'm guessing they're not on bad terms. From the things I've seen this guy do in interviews, he's a fucking psycho and a complete egomaniac. Like
Obviously, he told Jester that he had real wrestling potential.
My favorite thing this guy has ever said is that he was responsible for the high ratings that WCW had in 1996 and 1997. It was because of him.
what, like his commentary?
His commentary, and he got involved in a few matches and things like that too. But
I thought he was just saying that
they
as like
him as the signature voice of WCW, which is a load of bullshit. Tony Schiavone always was, and to the end was the signature voice of WCW.
I think he was just. It sounds like he was just saying that because he was in character. Essentially, I feel like that's a little bit stretched out.
Thanks for interrupting me.
You're welcome.
He was the third man at best. And he wasn't even a good third man. Mike Tenay was the good third man that they had.
Good old
Fuck.
Iron Mike.
Fuck Larry Zbyszko.
Who would you say would be the second man? Other than maybe
Bob
Heenan.
Would be Taz.
Well, Heenan's like a guarantee, but like
As
as far as like the
WCW.
WCW specific guys, like the Mark Maddens and the
Fuck Mark Madden.
Bischoff.
Bischoff did do commentary for a bit.
Bischoff was the play-by-play before Schiavone took over, really.
Yeah. Huh. Either way,
Essentially, he was
Zbyszko is not responsible for those 90s ratings. It's like, yeah, people say that NWO thing really took off. Nah, it was Zbyszko.
He is also one of the ugliest motherfuckers I've ever seen. Like, he's got like this weird alien-shaped head, and his kid has it too. If you ever look at his kid, like they're fucking hideous.
Note this off. Look at his head when he comes out and makes his speech. Got it.
What else do you guys think about Zbyszko? Wago, you didn't really chime in too much. You got any opinions about him?
Yeah, I just watched WWE's documentary on AWA, and it was pretty much that guy. Yeah, I think he was family or something, so they could trust to put the belt on him, and that's why he even has a fucking career. So, nothing special. Does he deserve it? By some standards, yes. So, he's just an old guy that they can put in, like Peyton said. They don't want... There isn't too much going for this Hall of Fame, so if they can have anyone speak, it's better than nothing. Since their main event won't. In fact, they've got 2 dead people in this fucking Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah, is that the first time they ever had 2?
Is it one of the Bushwhackers dead?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, that's 3.
One of them's
Yeah.
dead?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of the Bushwhackers is dead.
Which one?
Yeah.
So,
This is just the dead one.
so they're just the Bushwhacker now.
Yeah.
The Bushwhacker. That sounds terrible.
The name itself is terrible. Jeez.
Well, let's talk about the Bushwhackers a little bit. A lot of people are saying that they are easily the least worthy of being in the Hall of Fame for this year.
No.
Yeah, I'm hearing that quite a bit.
No.
I don't think that that's the case.
Yeah, there's worse.
Yeah, I think that the situation with the whole Connor thing, you can kind of make a case for that a little bit. I do agree, though, I don't think that they really should go into the Hall of Fame, at least not this year. But, man, I don't know. Like, this is not something that I would have been looking forward to. Like, we made lists in the past of, I can't wait until this guy gets into the Hall of Fame. And, man, eventually it's going to get to the point where they induct Vader, and they induct this guy, and I don't think anybody ever mentioned the Bushwhackers. But, what do you guys think? Is this a good tag team to throw in there for the tag team division, or should you
Yeah,
be
sure.
bringing in some other
Definitely
people?
not.
Or what?
The Bushwhackers were more of a comedy tag team than they were anything. They had a really weird gimmick, and what do most people remember the Bushwhackers for? For that time that Hulk Hogan eliminated one of them, where he did a funny walk backstage. So, I'm not a big fan of these guys going in. Apparently, pre-Bushwhackers, they were a lot better. I wouldn't know. I'm not into them that much. So, I don't think they deserve it, but again, At this point, what does it even fucking mean? The Hall of Fame qualifications mean jack shit. We got a dead kid going in this year.
By the way, I'm looking this up. I don't see any information about one of them having died.
Okay.
Oh, he should have died. That's
Drew, do you remember anything about the Bushwhackers from like old tapes you used to watch or anything like that?
You act like I had videotapes of wrestling stuff in 2004.
Are you so young that you didn't even have videotapes?
No, the only stuff that I would have...
No.
If the only time I would have came across the Bushwhackers when I started watching wrestling is if my friend Kyle, who had a bunch of wrestling DVDs, if he'd had some random Bushwhackers with some wacky ass name for the title, Bushwhackers DVD, which I don't think he had. And he had a ton of DVDs too, but a lot of them were like ROH stuff. So I don't think I have anything to say about the Bushwhackers other than the Bushwhacker now. Apparently, if he didn't die.
Sean, you've got sheep. What do you think about the sheep herders?
I think it's a wasted spot. I would have rather seen another tag team going, like, I don't know, New Age Outlaws. Or someone on that caliber. Or someone from that era.
Too cool.
So, you know. Well, you know, too cool. Too cool, we're alright. I prefer Too Cool to the fucking Bushwhackers. The Bushwhackers, what? Fucking retarded? Give me a break.
What about the natural disasters? Neither of them are in the Hall of Fame, right?
No. John Tenta absolutely deserves to be. Problem is he's dead too.
Yeah, damn, that's true. Fuck. These people dying.
Are Demolition in
John
the
Tenta,
Hall
in
of Fame?
fact, deserves to go in by himself. Like, I don't think he should go in as a tag team. John Tenta has a wide body of work. No pun intended. Yeah, no pun intended. He's done a lot of great things. He deserves to go in by himself at some point.
What about Tugboat? Could he go in
That one's a little
with
tough.
Tugboat boat?
I don't know if Tugboat is a Hall of Famer. That one's a little stretch.
Okay.
Bushwhackers, though, I do think deserve to go in. I think people are really underestimating their place. Like, they were a really fun tag team at a time when tag team wrestling was awesome. They were one of the tag teams that really helped flesh things out in the late 80s, early 90s, when tag teams were the tits. That was the golden era of tag team wrestling. And they lasted all the way into, like, the beginning of the second tag team boom in the late 90s. Like, I remember that show I always like to talk about that I went to in Madison Square Garden where the infamous curtain call incident happened. The Bushwhackers were on that show, and that had to have been one of the last WWE performances they ever did. I don't think they were still around too much more past that. So I remember them just as I was getting into wrestling, and going back and watching the things they did before, to say that they're only remembered for being limited by Hulk Hogan, that's such an insult, man. These guys had all those great promos with Mean Gene when they were in like the back areas of Australia and having like barbecues and doing all types of weird shit. I love those guys. They're a lot of fun. They came out and they like licked children and like kidnapped them and shit. Like, can you imagine people doing that these days?
What I ask you, though, is being around for a long time and being filler worthy of a Hall of Fame? But then again, what are the Hall of Fame standards, so...
Well, who's to say what filler is? Isn't everything just filler? I mean, are we going to say that only main eventers go in the Hall of Fame? No, people who
ideally, that is how it should be.
No.
Yeah.
I guess you could put it this way. I don't know too much about a whole lot of other sports, so you guys can fill me in on if I am saying something that's total bullshit now, but most of the other Hall of Fames...
Oh, that's so bullshit.
Yeah, like baseball's Hall of Fame and stuff, like, they basically go by...
They have utility players go in. That, you know, if they didn't, then you wouldn't have, like, catchers or, like, anybody like that go in. You wouldn't have, like, outfielders go in too often unless they're, like, sluggers. Like, you have people that go in for their utility playing as well. And I'm sure they work that way in other Hall of Fames. Drew could probably attest to that.
Yeah. When it comes, the difference is the Basketball Hall of Fame, it's kind of like the WWE Hall of Fame now that WWE has purchased a lot of stuff, whereas it's a Hall of Fame for all levels of basketball instead of, so like it recognizes like college and professional, kind of like how WWE recognizes a lot of other stuff nowadays. But yeah, it just really depends what you do. A lot of times, like in other Hall of Fames, they'll recognize stats, championships, that kind of stuff as well. So it just really just depends. I mean, if you're just some random guy who's just around for 20 years and still playing in a certain sport, that doesn't mean you'll get in the Hall of Fame, but even though WWE has a tendency to recognize people like that now, so I don't know. WWE, I think WWE is a lot different when it comes to that. They're different when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I gotta say, the top thing that I can remember from the Bushwhackers is probably not a Hall of Fame worthy thing, and that's that quick elimination from the Royal Rumble.
However, I think it's fair that if a tag team gets inducted, they get inducted as a tag team because that's essentially what they did. So, like, I consider championships to an extent when it comes to the WWE Hall of Fame, but that's just a personal opinion. I watch other sports; they recognize stats and all that kind of stuff. I think WWE should do the same when it comes to that kind of stuff. And yeah, so like with managers, they manage so many people and they like got championships. Yeah, I don't think it shouldn't be like a point value when it comes to that kind of stuff. But
then what kind of stats can you go by? You can't go by wins and losses in wrestling, so you can only go by how over they are. And the Bushwhackers were fucking over.
Yeah, and WWE is different. So like, a lot of times the way you're handled as a wrestler, it depends on your reaction you get. So. I sound like a broken record at this point. I'm just agreeing with whatever you guys say, but yeah, but that is very true.
Yeah, my attitude with the Hall of Fame is you've got to have some. As much as it is kayfabe, you still have to go in there partly for credentials too. Like just because let me put it in an example. Zack Ryder was really fucking over for a while.
Not like Hall of Fame 4 months. Bushwhackers were over for over 10 years. You cannot compare them to Zack Ryder. That's an insult.
More people remember Zack Ryder.
Right now, because it was recent.
Yeah, I don't think that Zack Ryder is going to go down as one of the, all-time greats or anything like that.
I don't know. Let me ask Dace.
Dace will be like, Hall of Fame this year.
So we all agree essentially that your place in history when it comes to wrestling should essentially make it so whatever you do, that's how you get in the Hall of Fame? Is that what we're agreeing to? Yeah.
You have to use a sentence that has proper structure and makes a point.
I think Peyton summed it up the best where if you go with who's over the most, then it does count quite a bit for, the Bushwhackers. Which, also another thing that I think is kind of funny, and this isn't just, talking about whether or not they should go to the Hall of Fame, it's just something extra to go along with it. How crazy it is that they look so damn similar.
Oh yeah, they're not related or anything. They just happen to look like they're fucking twins.
They are like, I can't tell the difference between the two of them.
And they came out dressed the same, and they did that freaking little arm thing they did.
That was over as fuck.
Exactly, that's how you could tell how over they were, because they come out and the whole crowd was doing that stupid arm thing.
Like, they should pair...
They were the original Emma.
I was just gonna say that when they have the women come out to like take them to the stage, they need to have Emma out there, and she needs to do that along with them. It has to happen. They're idiots if they don't pull that off. Speaking of women, though, let's talk about the woman that's going into the Hall of Fame this year, Alundra Blayze, or Medusa, or Deborah Michalek, or Michalek, or however you pronounce her name. She is definitely Hall of Fame worthy as far as I'm concerned. I mean, she was basically the diva in WWE before they called them divas for a couple of years there. And she held that title in a time period where they were trying to get back into wrestling with the women's division and stuff. And at the very least, she was some kind of eye candy compared to like Bull Nakano.
No, who's the really fat one? Bertha Faye.
Bertha Faye. Jesus God. Yeah, if we would have just had that, never would have been like a Trish Stratus and stuff. Not that Alundra Blayze is, she didn't make it that far in the Hottest Divas tournament, but, for the 90s kind of thing, people were into her. I remember thinking that she wasn't that bad looking.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
I know her because she threw a championship in a trash can.
That is probably one of the most famous things that she's done.
That's revisionist history, though. That's just because that's all WWE has shown, because they've tried to vilify her for doing that dastardly thing that she did.
Yeah.
That's all I know her for.
But she did do that, so...
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that time that she threw the title in the trash can?
All right, well, I'll tell you, I was watching Starrcade in 2000 earlier. You know what they did with her in Starrcade 2000? They had her defeat Evan Courageous to win the WCW Cruiserweight title.
Huh.
Yeah. So they totally were just like biting off the whole thing they had just done a few months earlier with China and the Intercontinental title. I didn't even know they did that because who the hell was watching WCW in 2000?
Right, yeah, that's like... It's like, oh, there was a WCW in 2000? Didn't know that. They must not have been having a whole lot of Larry Zbyszko to bump up those ratings.
No, Larry Zbyszko was not there. That was by the time they had Mark Madden.
Yeah, there you go. See,
Shit,
that's why
maybe he's
it's a
onto
downfall.
something. Man, if they had Lanny Poffo, that would have been better.
At least they would have had the top heel in the company.
Through that.
So, what else do you guys think about the whole thing? Should they have inducted her as Alundra Blayze or Medusa, or should they have just gone by her real name? That's what I think, you know. I don't like this idea of multiple inductions. So to me, Scott Hall should have gone in as Scott Hall, not Razor Ramon. They flat out just go, Scott Hall was Razor Ramon and whatever. It's not like being inducted as The Undertaker, where he's got extra gimmicks that you would want to have him take part in and stuff. To me, go by Deborah Michalek or whatever and mention that she was both Medusa and Alundra Blayze. You're not going to put her in twice, so you know what I mean?
You know
What do
what
you
I'm
guys think about that?
Nobody knows who Deborah Michalek is.
No, but there's a good portion of people that probably don't know who Alundra Blayze is.
Yeah, but
Medusa. Should have been Medusa.
Well, you know, they could have just like said both names and like just put a slash mark in between them.
except Deborah Michalek didn't wrestle Alundra Blayze and Medusa did. That makes sense.
Well, haven't they done that in the past with other people?
Did you know her whole name is Deborah Luminowski? Fun fact. Lumendowski. Why don't they induct her as that then, Tony? Huh?
Why not?
Yeah.
There you
Why
go.
don't they
Why not?
induct her as Made in the USA? Yeah.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts about Alundra Blayze before we move on?
Remember that time she threw the title in the garbage can?
No, when was that?
I'd stick my dick in it.
I think it was in WCW 1994.
What? The trash can?
Yo, guys, check this out.
Oh, they put a title in the trash can. Look what I got.
I pissed in
Alrighty.
a bin once. I'm not gonna lie. And there was a bus of old people opposite me whilst I was having a pee. You know, gave them a cheeky wave, cheeky wink. They took pictures. What more do you
we
want?
learnt that fucking Sean is an unregistered sex offender. Soon coming to registers.
Let's talk about one of the big ones here. The new Warrior Award. We talked a little bit about this idea before on the Monday Night Raw post show when they announced this, but we've had a little bit of time to sit and think about it and have it weigh on our souls, I guess you could say. Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? Obviously, we can't talk about, like, you know, the great things that Connor the Crusher has done in WWE or alternative people that should be taking his spot or anything else like that, but what do you guys think? Is this something that they should be doing every year? Drew, you said you had a lot to talk about in this one. Go for it.
Oh, about this one? Oh. I understand.
Oh shit, I
why
didn't
they
think you'd
did it.
ask me.
Yeah. At least first. You never asked me to do anything first. But I understand why they do this, because even though this is entirely, and when I say entirely, I mean entirely a PR move, I understand why they do that. Other, not Hall of Fames, but the NFL, the NBA, and then the MLB, any other like sports organization will like try to do stuff like this, you know, just to show that, you know, they care in a certain way. That is PR moves as well. I understand why the WWE is doing it. Now, for the person who actually got the award, I'm fine with him getting the award. I know Wago just going to spill about how he didn't mean for a dying Katie. He meant about how for the people in the back and that kind of stuff, they should go in a Hall of Fame and stuff like that. If they're going to take this in the context of people who like show courage and that kind of crap, I understand why they're just putting Connor in for the sole purpose of he was he's not a huge face, but he did a lot for Daniel Bryan, you know. He was, you know, just around that kind of scene, and it kind of makes sense because they made a big deal about his death last year. So I get why they did it, and I'm completely fine that they decided to do it.
Peyton, I know that you were against this idea before. Has your opinions stayed the same, or have they changed?
It really depends on what they're doing, because I'm not 100% clear. Is he going into the Hall of Fame or not? Because the way they're saying this is that he is getting an award. He's getting the Warrior Award. And if it's just an award and they're presenting this award at the Hall of Fame ceremony, but they're not actually a Hall of Fame inductee, it's a technicality, I know, but it's something that makes a big difference. It really does, because that's what bothers me about it, is that they're putting this kid in the Hall of Fame that has absolutely nothing to do with wrestling at all. And I know people argue like they have these celebrities and they haven't done much. They still did something. They still made appearances there. They probably like got some people buzzing about what was going on there. They do these Make-A-Wish things all the time. What makes this kid so special? I mean, I get this kid is like super courageous, and he this whole story is really touching, and it brings tears to lots of people's eyes, and that's well and good. But the whole Hall of Fame thing already does bring tears to people's eyes. Like, what about like the Jake the Snake story? That brought tears to people's eyes. Macho Man going in, that's going to bring tears to people's eyes. We got to have this cancer story. Like, I just don't think it has a place.
I think a lot of the reason why is because of like a fundraiser they set up for him as well, kind of like for people who have his kind of cancer as like a way to find a cure for it. So I think they're linking him with that as well as a way of like, you know, make it feel like a feel good story.
There's money involved. I get it. Okay, I see.
Yeah, and also it was set up by Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Mm-hmm. So, quote, hint. So, you know, it depends on how you really look at it in a weird way. I bet they'll clarify more once we get to the Hall of Fame whether or not he's going in. I mean, we could go into the Hall of Fame page on WWE, and if we see a picture of him, then maybe you have a reason to hate it. But I guess we'll just have to wait to see what exactly it is.
Now, I mentioned before that I think a better alternative to this is Slammy Award.
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree with you that a technicality like that makes a huge difference, because it's, if you kind of classify it as like a Lifetime Achievement Award, but you don't get the Oscar, then I think a lot of people will be able to stomach it better. And it's kind of horrible to say that, because it's like, it is a kid that had died from a terrible disease and stuff, but it's not like people that I've been seeing, at the very least, I'm sure there's some jackasses out there, are taking shots of like against the kid himself. It's just the idea of like, I think that you, Peyton, it might have been Wago, had brought it up, but it was like, well, what is the situation with this kid that makes him better than the other kids that they do with the Make-A-Wish? Like,
why isn't the Eliminator going in?
Yeah, why the other two kids too? Nick the Stitch and
Lightning Logan.
I don't know if it's bad that you remember the names of those kids or not.
No, they were over, man.
I do want to mention one thing really quickly. Connor does have a Wikipedia page now, and under his award and accomplishments, it does say that he's going into the Hall of Fame. So
yeah, but that could be edited by anybody.
Exactly. So I don't know. Maybe I'll give Peyton a go on a big rant, and then we all can get a laugh about it.
I don't know though. Like if they classify it as something different, I think that's a better scenario. But here's another thing that I don't know if they were planning for. Are they going to do this every year?
I think so.
And if they do this every year, ideally you wouldn't have a kid that would get involved and die.
Well, here's my biggest issue with the Warrior Award. This is not the Warrior Award. This is not what he wanted. And I think people forget that. Mm-hmm. He didn't want it to be about, fucking feel good children happy PR day. It's he wanted it for the guys backstage that bust their ass every night, setting all that fucking equipment up, that get underpaid, that don't get their travel expenses paid for anymore. Those guys that bust their asses, that's who this award's meant to be for. It's meant to be to recognize those standout guys that are on the road every day away from their wives and kids, putting money on the table to do this job. But
now,
no,
Wago, how can we possibly know what Warrior's wishes are? He's dead.
You mean after he fucking said it plainly on a fucking big stage?
No, I saw them play that footage back. It clearly said it like he was
Okay.
wanted in favor of Connor.
Man, they fucking cut that up to pieces. That was bad. Like it was like it wasn't even a tactical edit. It was just bad.
It's like, I think that we should honor Connor.
You've reached Detective Steve
Grabowski.
Lebowski.
Classic Simpsons. Yeah, like, why not have somebody like, I mean, the easiest example is Jim Johnston. He should have been in the Hall of Fame for WrestleMania 30. That would have been a perfect time to do that. And any time really could work better for that. I mean, it's a little tough to be like, all right, the next inductee into the 2015 WWE Hall of Fame is Stan, that guy backstage that got super kicked by Shawn Michaels.
Stan!
I think that deserves to go in the Hall of Fame. He took it like a champ.
Leave the memories alone. But they really should consider adding some kind of maybe they need to do like what the Oscars does, where they have like the technical awards beforehand because they don't really want to waste that much time on them. Maybe give out like some other little kind of plaques or something for those guys. But shit, those guys are big factors. Look at how many people thank the people in the back when they do their like Hall of Fame speeches and stuff. Shawn Michaels mentioned, I wouldn't be half the wrestler that I was if it wasn't for those video packages and shit. Like, those guys do a lot of work, so.
Dude.
Like, I'm not wrong for getting pissed off at the fact that I don't even, regardless of, there's an argument for Connor going in or not going in, I just don't like the fact they're using Warrior for this when his wishes were something else.
Do you think Warrior would be upset?
No, so that's a nicer way of looking at it, but at the same time, it's not what he wanted.
What if
he might have been upset. He's the fucking Warrior. He's insane.
Like, imagine him doing that. They're like, he's not actually, dead in this scenario. He's just like sitting there watching Raw one day, and they're like, "We're gonna call this the Warrior World." And he's just like, "What the fuck?"
I wonder what his family thinks. Do you think his family like wants to say something, but like, how do you speak out against that?
The only thing that I had seen was his wife put something out of like, "We're greatly honored that Connor's gonna be the first recipient," or whatever, like some generic.
He's probably like,
copy-paste
fuck, if they
thing.
keep paying for my groceries, they can do whatever they want.
Maybe, yeah. That's sad that kind of stuff happens.
No, that's great. I think that's wonderful that they do that.
No, I mean that people would be like, well, it's kind of extortion, but that's okay. Like,
He could just say nothing.
yeah. Well, unless they said, we're gonna stop paying for the groceries. So let's talk about Rikishi here. He is somebody who has had different championships in WWE. He's not, some multi-time world champion, main eventer all the time kind of a guy, but he's been a former Intercontinental Champion. He's had a long career. He's been several different characters and stuff. I think Rikishi's perfectly fine to go into the Hall of Fame, and I'd like to hear some reasons why not.
He's
fat! He's fat! Aw, damn it!
He did it for The Rock.
No, I have no arguments against Rikishi going in. I think he's a perfectly fine guy to go in. He's background guy in the class. He's not a headliner for the class, but you can't have 7 headliners going in, so he's a fine guy to go in.
I'm okay with it for the most part. Don't think it's weird. Like, he was never a main eventer, but they don't all have to be main eventers. If there was like,
he was.
It was for a short period of time during that Austin feud. Mm-hmm. I guess he was long enough in the picture where it's okay. It's like, I don't like guys that had a one shot and just went away, but I guess he had enough substance where you could argue it.
You mean like an R-Truth?
Yeah, like I wouldn't want R-Truth going in there. Watch, someone's gonna fucking chime in and go, well, R-Truth could.
R-Truth probably should. He's had a
God damn it!
He's had a long career, multi-time champion.
Fuck you.
He's like one of those consistent guys. He's like Kane, where he's been there, done whatever they needed him to do.
No. Kane's like above R-Truth on a different fucking level.
Listen, R-Truth is a 3-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Current Intercontinental Champion.
An X-Division
No, not anymore.
Wade Barrett has
Wade
it.
Barrett's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Intercontinental Champion has the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah,
That's a weird situation, isn't it?
Still SmackDown.
He also holds a bragging rights trophy. I think he deserves a shot.
Sean, what do you think about Rikishi? You were watching when he was still there.
Go back to the previous episodes where it is highly edited, and that's my thought of Rikishi.
Forgot about that.
He's black and he's Samoan.
He's not black.
I think his argument to that was The Rock's black.
But that dude did take a sweet choke slam off the top of the Hell in the Cell onto
That
the
wasn't a
back of
choke
the hay
slam,
truck.
that was a, yo, I'm gonna push you.
By your throat.
Well, he still took it like a champ, though, for a guy his size. So, hats off.
Yeah, into like a big pile of hay.
I wouldn't do it.
Bunch
Would
of
you do it?
mattresses underneath it too.
Fuck that.
I'd much rather do that than what Foley did. Fuck.
Yeah.
Foley, they're like, yo, can you jump off the cage? And he's like, onto what? And they're like, yeah. That's the spirit. See you later, Mick. Any other thoughts about Rikishi? Any like standout moments that you guys think are really, that's the reason why he should go into the Hall of Fame, other than maybe getting pushed off the Hell in a Cell?
He did it for the
He
Rock.
won tag team gold with Rico. There you go.
And
It-
Scotty Too Hottie.
Initially, when he was announced, I was against it, but I've kind of changed my mind over time. There's nothing that really sticks out, and I think that was the reason I was having a hard time justifying it, but the guy was around for a long time. He's had a multiple of gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's forget about the Sultan. And,
Please forget about the Sultan.
thanks for inducting me. Please forget about the Sultan. And,
It'd be great though if he does some kind of thing like that. He's like, I came in as what was it, one of the head shrinkers? That's what it was.
oh shit, he
I
should
was-
try and talk and nothing comes out. And
He's
be like,
like,
what the fuck's wrong?
I went in as a head shrinker, then I just became Fatu, then I was a Sultan, and then I became Rikishi. It's kind of like there's a little part where I was,
No, he should be inducted by the Iron Sheik.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. It's a shame they're not going to do that, but that would be so great.
Oh, wouldn't it be great? Like, they haven't told the Usos go up there to start doing it, and then Iron Sheik just pushes through. It's like, yep, I got this.
Iron Sheik #1, Usos #2.
So I got a question about Rikishi. Do you reckon he'll be inducted to the TNA Hall of Fame now? Because he's been inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame.
TNA has a Hall of Fame.
I think they've got one person out of the 2 spots in it. Didn't Kurt Angle not get into it?
No, Kurt Angle accepted it in the end.
Yeah, there was like this whole prolonged
motherfucker
story
needed to
like where
watch.
Kurt Angle didn't think he was worth it.
Jesus Christ, that fucking company.
He just wanted to watch at the end of the day. At the end of the day, though, I'd rather a watch than a ring.
Really?
Do you know that Kurt Angle was a 2-time King of the Mountain champion?
A what?
A 2-time King of the Mountain, Kurt Angle. 2007 and 2009. Ooh yeah, Kurt Angle.
Remember when
Speaking
Jarrett
about-
fucked his wife? That was funny.
Speaking about the people that are going to induct them, though, have they announced some of these? Like,
No.
who's going to induct the Bushwhackers?
The
If I had
Bushwhack.
to take a wild guess on who was going to induct the Bushwhackers, I would say Mean Gene.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Can we
Yeah,
just
they better
have
go.
Rhino do it? Everyone's marking out for Rhino recently.
Now, here to induct Larry Zbyszko, Rhino.
Oh no, I know exactly who's going to induct Larry Zbyszko. Dusty
Oh,
Rhodes.
No, they need
It-
Jericho
oh
and
my
just let
god!
Jericho
Okay,
shoot on him.
no. It already says who's inducting him. John
I thought it was
Laurinaitis is.
Oh, John
Ah.
Laurinaitis?
Wow.
The fuck?
That's a terrible choice.
Right?
Maybe they know each other really well. I don't know, but
Yeah. This guy
I
Um,
was big in WCW.
a bad speaker. Yeah, Rhino.
I hope that he mispronounces Zbyszko.
I
Larry Zbyszko.
wrestled in Japan once.
You guys remember People Power?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I should get back in the ring and hit that ace crusher. You know what I'm saying?
I actually like the People Power era. I thought it was really good.
Oh,
John Laurinaitis is our impression of Sean now.
Yes.
fucking hell!
Fucking
It's just a quiet version of that now.
Fuck my life. How the fuck am I on this again?
Well, I'm gonna induct this fucking wanker.
Do they have listed who's going to induct Alundra Blayze?
Not yet.
The trash can?
Sure.
Probably
Uno
be
San
like
Martino's
Trish Stratus or
inducting
some shit.
Larry. Rikishi's been inducted by the Usos.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger hasn't been announced yet, but most likely will be Triple H possibly.
You know what
And
they'll be
then-
like? Man, do you know that bitch? Let's get Lita to induct her. Make a fucker sit for a Lita, talk again.
Oh God, no!
Please don't. If you're going to have anybody come back from last time around, have Mr. T come back.
Randy
I
Savage.
used to watch Alundra Blayze on Superstars. What? And
No.
Raw. What? And Nitro. What? Man. Who's going to... I would assume Triple H and Stephanie or Daniel Bryan will do the Connor one.
Probably.
Actually,
Daniel
I
Bryan
think, it's,
more
I
so.
think it says it. I think it's Daniel Bryan and
Yeah, I think
someone
it has
else.
to be Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, they
Dana
can't have Triple H
Warrior
and stuff.
and Daniel
Because-
Bryan. Oh, Dana Warrior's doing it. Okay.
Okay, she's going to be a part of the whole... You know, on behalf of the Warrior, this is whatever, and Daniel Bryan to be like...
You meant so much to me.
Yes, yes, yes.
Alright, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Worthy of the Hall of Fame for the
Yes.
celebrity?
Duh. Robo. Yes.
He's been a
What did
stretch.
he do?
He was RoboCop.
He raised his hands in the air on Raw once. Yeah, I don't know.
Only
feel like it's more of
okay
a
with this on
partnership.
one condition. Ryback's a huge fan. Let him induct him.
That would be amazing. Is Muhammad Ali in the Hall of Fame?
No, but he should be.
Yeah, well, you can't do it in a year where you've got all these other dead people, but...
Ugh.
Muhammad Ali's not dead.
No, you just put a
Is
quarter. No, you just put a quarter in
No.
and ride him.
What the fuck?
No,
He's not dead at all.
no, Muhammad Ali just has Parkinson's.
Wait a minute,
He
was
still does speeches and shit. What the fuck?
was Muhammad Ali the dead bushwhacker?
You know what the worst part is? I actually worked a show and why one of the Bushwhackers were on. I should fucking know.
Alright, well then all the more reason that Muhammad Ali should have been in the Hall of Fame this year. I think it's dead.
Well, Muhammad Ali, I don't know. Yeah, I guess he could go into WWE's.
Yeah, plus he's always credited fucking... What's the old guy that everyone steals his shit? Sparkly robes and all that crap. Gorgeous George.
I'm like, Ric Flair?
No, he stole it off Gorgeous George.
Is your buddy Rogers?
No, he stole it off Gorgeous George.
AJ Styles for a little bit there? Yeah, so Arnold Schwarzenegger is somebody who, I guess you can make the case, I don't know. The celebrity one's kind of like, did they show up on an episode of Raw? Okay, they're in Hall of Fame. What are you guys hoping to see Schwarzenegger do, though? That's got to be a great speech.
Get to the chopper.
He's just quotes.
I just want him to sound awesome, so yeah.
He's like, put the cookie down, and mentions how if Ric Flair can get inducted twice in the Hall of Fame, I'll be back. Fuck, now I want Ryback to do that. That'd be so great.
I think they should just do it as a favor to Ryback. I mean, the guy, if you listen to him, like he's really got a passion for Arnold as one of his heroes. But, you know, fuck making people happy.
At the very least, show him crying in the stands.
Please do. Oh, that would make me happy.
Yeah, you're gonna like hear Arnold talking and you're just gonna hear, yeah, the other big guy.
Big guy shedding some big tears.
big guy.
You know who I feel bad for? Anybody who has to like type out anything involving the Hall of Fame because they got to go with Schwarzenegger and Zbyszko.
Yeah, that's not...
You know, the thing, no, see, Ryback's going to be that one fan that starts running on stage, like going, I love your Schwarzenegger, and then they get security call in to, like, get him off it. That's what Ryback's going to
Get him off.
Instead of the divas accompanying Schwarzenegger to the ring, it's
It's
just fucking Ryback with his arm hooked around him and a big ass shit-eating grin. Look at this.
Yo,
On stage with Schwarzenegger.
Yo, Oos, look at me.
It's Terminator. Yo, oos, oos. And
Yo,
in the
Oos,
crowd,
take a
he's
picture.
like, what the fuck, Ryback? We're getting ready to induct our dad. Oos. But look, Schwarzenegger. Look. Terminator, right there. Alright, two more people to talk about here. Obviously, the guy that's going in, Macho Man Randy Savage. skip past the obvious of he should have gone in a long time ago. Mostly, let's just look at this as a different retrospective. I mean, there's no arguments that he shouldn't go into the Hall of Fame. But what are some of your favorite moments from Randy Savage's career?
When he took Stephanie's virginity.
That was a great episode of Superstars.
Well, thanks for killing that, Sean.
Jesus. And
You're
another
welcome.
heavily edited episode of Smack Talk.
Nobody wants to pick this
All
up.
right,
after that?
so as far as fucking Randy Savage going in the Hall of Fame, fantastic choice. And since Tony said let's skip this part, I'm going to say it anyway. Should have been in a long time ago. And any moments that strike out for me would probably be his feud with Jake Roberts, and the other thing being that he was the Slim Jim guy, and because of that, he crossed platforms. Like, people that didn't even really know wrestling knew fucking Randy Savage, and they knew, ooh yeah, so all about Randy Savage.
Yeah. Randy Savage was a fucking man. He was like, when you go back and watch that golden era of WWE from the late 80s, early 90s, people will always try to make the defense that Hulk Hogan was the key character. I don't think so. I think the standout always was and always will be Macho Man Randy Savage. The guy with his sunglasses, his crazy way that he talked with not being able to control the volume of his voice, and the out there things he would say, and the gorgeous Miss Elizabeth. He was just the absolute perfect person to be there. My favorite moments with him, getting bit by a snake, by Jake the Snake. That was pretty neat. Winning the title at WrestleMania 4, getting married to Miss Elizabeth, snapping into a Slim Jim, and being in Spider-Man.
Bone sauce ready.
Sauce ready.
Do you think
Yeah,
you
you-
ever snapped to a Slim Jim too hard? I hope not. Don't want to hurt him.
He was a veteran at doing that.
However, he
Imagine
snapped
the
into
amount
a
of
palm
Slim
tree.
Jim. Did they ever cover how many Slim Jim merch he got? I bet he's just had a freezer full of fucking Slim Jims.
He probably didn't even like it.
He has a meat locker full of Slim Jims.
Bet you he was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
That'd suck.
Snap into a veggie Slim.
Veg meat.
I kind of think that you mentioned the Hulk Hogan thing. There really seems to be like a two-sided coin to it. Like, Hulk Hogan paved the way for those, like, the John Cena types. You know, you have an over-the-top character that is really simplistic, and you don't do that much in the ring because you got to keep, the simple kind of stuff going. This sounds like a huge, like, fuck you, but it's not meant to be as much of a big shot, but it plays to the lowest common denominator. You know, Hulk Hogan is somebody who gets really, really popular because all you really need to know about Hulk Hogan is, like, he's the good guy. That's it. But Randy Savage is the more complicated character. He had different motivations behind different things that he did. He played a heel a lot more, which is far more complicated than being a babyface. He had a different style in the ring. So you look at like a Shawn Michaels, he clearly doesn't have the same ring style as either of them, but if it's going to be one or the other, he was more influenced by Savage than he was Hulk Hogan. You look at a Dolph Ziggler, he's more on the Savage end, and even like Edge. Edge is far more of a Savage type of guy than a Hulk Hogan type of guy. So, I don't know, I mean, Hulk Hogan did more for a lot of different things, but if it wouldn't have been for Savage, I highly doubt wrestling would have been anywhere near what it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely one of the best ever.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a shame that they waited until he had passed away for them to get a hold of this, because he would have had an awesome speech. That would have been amazing. What do you guys think about Hulk Hogan inducting him, though?
Makes sense. Out of everyone.
It's a little awkward given their history.
Yeah.
In fact, I would have... One thing I forgot to mention, I would have liked Miss Elizabeth to go in this year with him. I
It's
don't know.
awkward, though.
Why?
Why? They're... Like, it doesn't have to be... I know they're split up, but the reality of it is their careers are almost one and the same.
That's true.
It's like you can't have one without the other. A big part of his entire character was Miss Elizabeth. As far as Hulk Hogan inducting him, it's a little awkward given their history. I don't know if they made up or not towards the end.
Hogan says they did.
Yeah, but Hulk Hogan's word is Hulk Hogan's word.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't have mind Vince doing it, maybe just to get some closure on the whole situation. Stephanie, if you want to just lol. But
She's like, I've got some great memories about Macho Man. Some great memories.
Remember when I used to sit on Macho Man's lap?
So we got that picture? Oh, we just have the Andre one? Oh.
might sound odd, but Diamond Dallas Page is meant to have a really good relationship with him, so why not DDP?
Yeah.
Makes sense. What if they do have Lenny Poffo come out to accept it?
I'm gonna teleport there and throw a rock.
So whatever happened to that whole thing where Macho Man could only go in if Lanny and Papa Poffo go in?
WWE was probably like, yeah, nah.
It's not gonna
And
happen.
he's just like, come on. Nope, I'll be your friend.
So you saw through. So Vince, you saw through that? Yep. Fuck. We've tried though, right? Yeah, not bad.
It's like, yeah, don't ever call this number again. Finally, let's talk about that other spot, because they haven't officially confirmed if it is Kevin Nash or if another person's going in or what, but if it's not Kevin Nash, who should go in? If it is Kevin Nash, what do you guys think?
Yeah, it should be Kevin Nash. Why the hell not? He's a guy who deserves to go in. All of his buddies are in. I mean, Sean's in. Scott Hall's in. So he should be in.
Anybody have any other suggestions?
I think his quad should go in. Quad
What's your
joke.
choice?
Yeah.
You know what's cool
I
is if
reckon-
Kevin Nash goes in, we have both Bonesaw and Shredder going in.
That's great. And the dude from Punisher. I forget his name.
Sure.
The Russian guy.
Kevin McGaysher.
I think it's just the Russian, now that I'm thinking of it. The Russian guy, you know, the Russian.
As far as Kevin Nash going in, he definitely deserves it, just as Scott Hall did. I wonder what they'll induct him in as, though. Kevin Nash or Diesel?
I'm assuming Diesel.
I still reckon Owen Hart should go in before.
It was so fucking cool when he came back as Diesel at the Rumble.
Oh, that was amazing.
When he just
I love how
slipped the
Matt
glove.
Striker's just like, ah, shit.
Fuck you guys, buck it out, internet talk, oh, I'm fired.
No, that made it so much better to me, coming out as Diesel. Especially because it's like, Kevin Nash. Like, he came out and it's like, I like Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash is always cool. But it just doesn't have that much of, like, a punch as much as it did with, like, just hearing that beginning of the Diesel theme and
Doesn't
stuff.
have international appeal.
No, it's not that much of an international, you know.
Yeah, he never really threw a good punch. International.
There you go. I'm like the what? All right, so any last thoughts for this class of 2015 Hall of Fame for WWE? You guys excited for the live red carpet affair? You guys gonna just skip it like Drew is?
I'm wearing my tuxedo right now.
Sweet.
I'll probably be working, so I'll probably miss the first chunk. So I'll be like, "Hey guys, what who sucked this time?" And you'll say Lita, even though she isn't there.
It'll happen.
Jinder Mahal turn face.
Oh man, I hope I
Probably.
don't miss that. All right, guys. So we have another Hall of Fame that we are going to talk about in the next part. That is our own Hall of Fame. Smark Out Moment Hall of Fame is finally going to end up happening. So stay tuned, and we will be right back.